So, guys, in what amounts to being extremely wonderful news, TikTok's ban has been officially upheld and they have to shut down by January. So, they did appeal the ban that went into effect after they passed the bill this past year. And now that has been shot down by a federal court, and TikTok is banned. They have to stop operating by January, which is, to my understanding, next month. I believe shortly before Trump's inauguration. Today's video comes from the Quartering. His channel will be linked in the description so that you can go check him out and support him. Watch the end of the video to fully understand the implications of the TikTok ban. Gen Z is obviously grieving on social media right now, and I need to get myself a cup that says, Gen Z tears. Maybe I'll sell them as mugs. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Getting a news alert this morning on TikTok. For that, we're going to turn to Julia Borston. Hey, Julia.
That's right. A defeat for TikTok. A federal judge has refused to block the law that says that TikTok has to be divested by its parent company, Chinese ByteDance, by January 19th or will be banned. Now, the judge had been asked to review this and rule on whether TikTok must abide by the DOJ's ban to give them time to appeal this. So this is a defeat for TikTok. We do expect TikTok to appeal this up to the Supreme Court. We have reached out to TikTok for comment. We have not heard back yet. And of course, Carl, there is, of course, this wild card of what incoming President Donald Trump will do because he's going to be inaugurated the day after this ban is scheduled to go into effect. So a lot of questions here about what will happen next. But we do, in fact, expect TikTok to appeal this decision by the judge to refuse to block this law that would call for a ban or divestiture of TikTok.
Looking at some reaction out of shares of Meta, for example, Julia, that's going to be another all-time high, up a couple percent. There had been, I think, a school of thought, and you could see it in some of the stocks of social names in the last few days, that maybe this was in the offing.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you look at the potential implications for this, the companies that would benefit from the additional eyeballs and ad dollars would be Meta, Snap, and also YouTube. Those are the companies that are really competing for those social ad dollars and eyeballs. But there was a sense that this was unlikely to happen because President Trump had said that he did now oppose a ban, despite the fact that when he was in office the first time, he was advocating for a ban. So even though this judge has ruled the way that he has, there are still various options here for President Trump to say that, in fact, TikTok is in compliance with the law. And then we'll also see what the Supreme Court says. They could either opt to allow TikTok to continue operating while the litigation proceeds, or the Supreme Court could actually just rule on this before January 19th.
Meantime, we haven't really talked a lot about the new law in Australia that bans social media use for kids under 16, I believe. But it is interesting the way some policy around the world is coming to collision with this industry.
Yeah, more and more criticism of the impact on teens and kids. We see companies like Meta really work to try to get ahead of this. They had their Instagram for teens. They're trying to age gate that. And then you have the fact that this Australia law really tries to put the pressure on these social platforms themselves to deal with that age gating, whereas companies like Meta would rather have the likes of Apple or Google, the app stores, be responsible for figuring out how old people are when they are downloading and using these apps. And there are just so many logistical challenges here. If you're 13 years old or 14 years old, you don't have an ID, you don't maybe want facial recognition used to figure out how old a kid is. So a complex issue. And then, of course, you have some states here in the U.S. that are also raising the issue of trying to limit access to social media platforms by teens. And that's something that, if there's a patchwork of these laws across the country, would be challenging for a Meta or, say, a Snap to manage.
Right.
So here's my thoughts on the matter. I honestly think this is the beginning of the end. Don't forget that they were trying to ban social media for teenagers in Florida recently, and then I think it was this past year, and DeSantis refused to sign that into law. However, it seems like we may end up with a federal blanket ban because Project 2025 is still very, very active. And they're going to be advocating for a lot of different things. And one of those things I truly believe is going to be a social media ban for teenagers. They're going to want a federal law to ban social media. And we know the harmful effects that social media has had on young people. We know the damage that it's done to them. They don't need to have these interactions. They should not be on Twitter all the time. Social media is a dangerous, very dangerous thing. I'm going to tell you guys right now, when I go on YouTube and I'm scrolling through my YouTube feed, what do I constantly see? I see 304s dancing and they're wearing these outfits and so forth. You go onto Instagram, what are you seeing in your feed? You're seeing 304s. Even if you don't go looking for them, Instagram is still showing you them. And this is basically softcore stuff. This stuff is messing with our minds, it's giving us constant dopamine hits. It is not good for us, okay? It is softcore garbage. It is 100% softcore garbage, and it needs to. These kids should not be on there. On top of it, it is the tons of information that they are being fed around the clock is horrific. Gen Z has the attention span of a grapefruit. They cannot focus on anything for more than a couple of seconds. That's one of the reasons why when we design videos, and this is like a trick, a secret. I'll tell you this as YouTubers. I don't do it as often, but this is something that many YouTubers have to do. You have to use, like, for example, if you're shooting a video and you're actually in the video, you have to like have multiple shots. So you have to keep on rotating one shot to another shot to another shot constantly to keep people engaged in the video. You might think it's a small thing, but it's literally done to keep people to basically keep on giving dopamine hits. Another thing is, for example, even like putting together compilation videos. You can't even like show a person a compilation for more than like a couple of seconds because a lot of times are like because you're gonna have to, because then they're gonna get bored. So you have to give them one dopamine hit. They jump to another clip and then give them another dopamine hit, and then like so so you don't even give them the full clip. You give them bits and pieces of these clips, and then you keep on jumping and jumping and jumping. I'm just telling you the truth of how these things are designed. Okay, and this is the reason why some videos perform so much better than others on YouTube. And you're like, well, it's the same video. Yeah, but it's the way that they edit it. These videos are literally designed to keep you trapped in these infinite loops. They're designed to give you constant hits of dopamine because your attention span has been ruined. Our attention span as a whole is ruined, is damaged. Okay? Gen X, millennials, but especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I've already said this about Gen Alpha that if not most of them will never work a normal job in their lives outside of doing maybe a little DoorDash and Uber Eats if it's still around at that point. They're not doing any normal work. These people will never work a normal 9 to 5. They will never have an office job. They will never be mechanics. They will never be doctors or lawyers. They will never have these normal jobs. Gen Alpha is cooked. There is no few. I'm telling you right now. I saw this like when going all the way back to 2020 and when everything happened, I could see the look in their faces. It was a look of stupid, a look of downright stupid, and just like complete oblivion. Like they don't even know what's going on. And now you're seeing the behavioral issues with these children, where they are basically feral, but they're like getting in fights with adults. And here's the problem: Gen X often likes to refer to themselves as feral. Gen X was the mess around, find out generation. But the thing about Gen X is that usually, if you didn't mess with them, they wouldn't mess with you. Don't get me wrong, there were some jackasses in Gen X, but most Gen Xers just wanted to be left alone. And while Gen X did not trust authority, they respected authority. Gen Alpha does not respect authority. They are not home. They are not domesticated. Okay, like they belong out in the woods, and like leave them there. You don't want to run into them. Okay, if you run into Gen X in the woods, you leave them alone. They leave you alone. All right, you can even just be polite, like, "How's it going? How's it going?" And you mind your business and keep on going. Gen Alpha, they will try to rob you, bro. They will try to rob you. Like, you won't even see them coming. You don't want to run into Gen Alpha in the woods. And then, like, basically, you end up Control-Alt-Deleting. And then now you have to, like, now it's going to be like a case and a trial where you have to explain that this little jerk had tried to come at you and you were just defending yourself and protect. You don't want all of that. You don't want that stress in your life. You don't want that stress in your life. And that's what you're in fighting with these little jerks. I do not like Gen Alpha. I'm going to be real. I don't like Gen Alpha. I don't like Gen Z. And now we're going to see a lot of the consequences of all of this, guys. It is going to be absolutely brutal. All of this is going to be absolutely brutal. Like, do not misunderstand. We're going to see hell on earth. Guys, if you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen.
Wow. Absolute bombshell. The appeals court just ruled that they will be upholding the TikTok ban, forcing the app to be sold in the next 40 days, period. There are no more outsies. That's it. TikTok must be sold if it wants to remain in operation in the United States. Now, what does this mean? We're going to talk about all that in this video because it's complicated. Doesn't mean that TikTok will shut down immediately. No. Will it shut down? Well, that seems foolish because it has value. Someone will buy it in the United States, almost certainly. But this loss is a massive hit. And it's a massive hit to the company's value because you don't have, you're being forced to sell. So buyers know that. And so they're not going to offer you anywhere near as much. Maybe Elon will buy it. Appeals court upholds TikTok ban, declining to block law that forces its sale. A federal appeals court upheld a law that would force TikTok's Chinese parent company to divest or face a ban in the United States, dealing another setback to the widely popular video sharing app in its battle with the federal government. A panel of 3 judges from the Court of U.S. Appeals for the District of Columbia unanimously sided with the Justice Department in declining to review the petition for relief from TikTok and ByteDance, its Chinese parent company. Quote, "We conclude that portions of the act the petitioners have standing to challenge, that is, the provisions concerning TikTok and its related entities, survive constitutional scrutiny," meaning they're good. Senior Judge Douglas Ginsburg wrote in the majority opinion, "We therefore deny any petitions." Congress approved a foreign assistance package in April that included provisions giving TikTok 9 months to sever ties with ByteDance or lose access to the App Store and web hosting services in the United States. President Biden quickly signed the bill into law. Biden's trying to get this done before he's out of office. And set it to take effect January 19th, the day before Donald Trump takes over, with the possibility of a one-time 90-day delay grant by the president if a sale is in progress by then. President-elect Donald Trump tried to ban TikTok during his first term in office, but reversed his position during his presidential campaign and vowed to save the app. Lawmakers and national security officials have long had suspicions about TikTok's ties to China. Officials from both parties have warned that the Chinese government could use TikTok to spy on, collect data from 170 million American users, or covertly influence the U.S. public by amplifying or suppressing certain content. The first part, doi, everybody knows that. Okay, everybody knew that they were doing that. TikTok's own developers were saying that they still had access to the app in America. The second part is what I've been talking about for the longest time. It's not just that they have access to Americans. I don't necessarily care about that. Every app is, every American app is selling our data to China too. So I think it's a little like odd to say the least that people would think, oh, because it's selling, because ByteDance is owned by China, that's somehow different. All of our app makers in the United States are already doing so. They're selling all of our information whenever the heck they want. Lawmakers in the National Security Office, the appeals court decision likely tees up a fight at the Supreme Court, but the law's ultimate fate, over the law's ultimate fate, the parties asked judges to make a decision by Friday, so there is enough time for the Supreme Court to review the case before the law takes effect. The justices could agree to hear the case and pause the law while they consider arguments, or they could just let the appeals court ruling stand as final word. So there's no guarantee that the Supreme Court would even get involved. The First Amendment exists to protect free speech in the United States, Ginsburg wrote in his opinion. Here, the government acted solely to protect the freedom from a foreign adversary nation and limit that adversary's ability to gather data on the United States people. The appeals court said that it recognized the decision will have significant implications for TikTok and its users. Consequently, TikTok's millions of users will need to find alternative media of communication, Ginsburg said. This burden is attributable to the People's Republic of China's hybrid commercial threat to the United States national security, not only the U.S. government, which engaged with TikTok through a multi-year process in an effort to find alternative solutions. They've had years and years and years to fix this. On top of that, they got caught multiple times still there's multiple times they still got caught pulling data from the American users. Here is their final ruling from the appeals court. This is very blurry, but let's go. I got a better version here, I think. All right. Unless TikTok executes a qualified divestiture by January 19th, 2025, or the president grants a 90-day extension based on progress towards a qualified divestiture, its platform will effectively be unavailable in the United States, at least for a time. Consequently, TikTok's millions of users will need to find alternatives.
So here's what all of this really means. It doesn't look like TikTok is going to survive. So, because the Supreme Court is going to have to intervene. The Supreme Court would have to say, hey, we are going to listen to your case. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the Supreme Court is going to reject TikTok's bid. And even if they do listen, I think they're going to reject it. Basically, the Democrats don't want TikTok. The Republicans don't want TikTok. I truly believe that the only reason why Trump was trying to keep TikTok going was to basically appeal to Gen Zers. And then also Barron Trump. He seems to be playing a large role in his father's presidency, giving his father very good advice. For example, telling him to, hey, go on this specific podcast. And this kid is definitely plugged in. Kid is definitely plugged in. He has an eye. This kid has talent. But in terms of whether or not I think TikTok's going to survive, I don't think Trump is going to save it. I think Trump will give them an option. I think he'll basically say, sell the company. If if TikTok agrees to sell the company, then he may try to, and maybe there's something he could do. and intervene and give them an extra 90 days so that they can sell the company. But I don't think that he's going to allow TikTok to continue operating the way that it has been operating in the United States. It's definitely a platform that's being used to spy on Americans. I think it would be absolutely terrible on Trump's part to try to prevent this from happening. And there's really not much he can do either. He cannot actually stop the ban. The most that he could do is he could try to give them an additional 90 days to sell the company, or says 6 months to sell the company, something like that. But I don't really see what he can do because it was already signed into law. So the ban was signed into law. The president does not have the power to stop the law. He only has the power to extend, to give them more time. And that's only on the grounds if they're actually trying to actively sell the company. I don't see what Trump can do in this situation. I don't see how Trump can stop the ban. Okay. And but he can give them time to sell the company. I don't know if ByteDance is going to sell the company because, to my understanding, they basically said they would not sell it, and they would close it down before they would sell it because they don't want to surrender the algorithm. They don't want to give up the algorithm. It's a prized algorithm. It's Chinese intellectual property. So if they sell the company, it would hands down have to come with the algorithm, not just the trademark. And no one's going to want to buy it without the algorithm. So that is a big factor. Also, if they surrender the algorithm, if they surrender all the data and all of that stuff, it could also prove that, hey, yeah, they definitely were spying for China. And I don't think China wants that out there because I really think that the CCP was receiving all of that data. They were using that data to track us. They were sending specific, having them send out specific things to affect Americans. So yeah, they're not going to want all of that dirty laundry out there. So I think they're going to let the ban go into effect. I don't think they're going to sell the company because it's going to be significantly undervalued. It's going to go from being an $80 million company to being worth $1 to $2 billion because no one's going to pay that kind of money for it. There's also antitrust issues. For example, Facebook could not buy it. Facebook could not buy it. There's no way in heck that Facebook could buy it. They're in the process of being broken up. Google could not buy it. I don't see. They're in the process. Google is facing some serious implications. They're in the process of being broken up. All of these companies are in the process of being broken up. So I don't really know who. I don't actually know who can actually pick this thing up. I really don't know who can buy this thing. And that's me being honest, and that's me being completely genuine. I don't know who can buy it because I don't know who can buy this thing because they're already facing antitrust. All of the companies that can afford to buy TikTok are facing antitrust. And why would TikTok sell their intellectual property for pennies? Absolute pennies at this point. They're not good. I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. I think this is pretty much the end of the story for TikTok, and I think the ban is going to go into effect. And I'm pleased about it because I think that it's helped to make Gen Z a bunch of idiots, and it will be a net positive to get rid of it. That's honestly what I think. Let me ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
Media, the First Amendment exists, so it has been denied. For these reasons, the petitions are denied. I doubt that the Supreme Court is going to take on this case. I really do. You know, I just, this appeals court said no, the Supreme Court's not going to overrule it. A federal appeals court on Friday upheld the law. TikTok and ByteDance, another plaintiff of the lawsuit, are expected to appeal to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, who tried to ban TikTok in his first term and whose Justice Department would have to enforce the law, said that the presidential campaign that he is now against the TikTok ban and would work to save the social media platform. So will Donald Trump refuse to enforce this? How could he do so? It's difficult to say. Again, I don't really care if China loses, to be totally honest. I don't care. Like, screw China all the way. I don't care. However, this is an app that had a valuation of $300 billion as early as November. I'm sure that is far less now, knowing that they may not be available in the United States, period, ever again. But this is wild. I don't have a problem with TikTok existing. The problem is, I do believe that China uses it to influence the American people and to degrade the West. I do believe that TikTok is primarily responsible for the trans epidemic. People have always had gender dysphoria, okay? That's not new. However, I believe that it has been massively proliferated by the TikTok app most exclusively. You've got big pharma and woke doctors, and you've got TikTok pushing that crap on America's youth, in my opinion, on purpose to promote degeneracy. Like, have you ever opened the TikTok app? It's just whores nonstop, or trans people telling America's youth, hey, you don't need, here, you don't need to tell your parents about this, that, and the other thing. Here's where you can get puberty blockers. I think that a TikTok ban in its current form would be a net positive for the United States of America's youth. That said, I don't think Facebook's any better. I don't think YouTube's any better. I don't think Instagram's any better. I think they all push degeneracy. So what makes TikTok any different? Not much. That said, if TikTok were sold to a United States company and subjected to the same level of scrutiny and regulation, I think it's probably okay that it would exist. I think it'd be foolish to just destroy the tool that is used by over 100 million Americans. I don't use it, but even I know that short form content is the future. Like, short form content and live streams are the future. These little, 10 to 12 minute bits that I do, nobody's going to get as big as my channel was now doing that new going forward. No new channel is going to blow up doing 10-minute news breakdowns. My viewers are my viewers, and I doubt I'm getting many new ones. It's going to be short form video and live streams going forward. That's it. That's why YouTube rolled out the 3-minute shorts, which I took advantage of early in 2024 or late in 2024, and I will be doing in 2025. Like that is the way of the future, whether I like it or not. So I can either make fun of it or I can get on board and try to find new viewers. When you see my subscribers growing up, it's 99% of it is from people who watch my shorts. They don't even watch my long form video. So if I don't adapt, I'm a 41-year-old, stick in the mud. But if I want to stay relevant past 2026, 2027, I have to utilize short form video. I know that. And TikTok is, the best at it. So, I have mixed feelings. If it gets sold to a US company, I'm actually fine with it still existing.
Now, one possibility, and let's be real, is Elon. I don't think it's going to get sold, but Elon would definitely, I would think Elon would like to get his hands on TikTok, especially at a considerable discount. Because don't forget, before TikTok, there was Vine, but Vine ended up falling off and dying. But Vine was an incredible app. It was very much like TikTok. It didn't show the same kinds of material as TikTok, but it was very similar. So, and evidently Elon had been talking about reviving Vine. I mean, if Elon can buy TikTok at a discount for a couple $1 billion, and it includes the algorithm, that would put Twitter or X in a very, very interesting place. Just to be clear, the way Elon operates, he might rename it. I don't know if he'll keep calling it TikTok. Elon is wild. Just like he changed the name of Twitter, he might change the name of he might change the name. He might honestly change the name of the app from TikTok to something X. To something X. Yeah, exactly. See, like my brain's already saying something X, like X app, or X Talk or whatever. Maybe just take the talk out, like X, just make it another X. Like you have Grok, and he would integrate it into X as a whole and build the everything app that he's been dreaming of. Because that's what he wants. He wants to build that everything app and bring that to the United States like they have in China. And I could see it happening. I can see it happening, guys. But I think it's over. I think this is done. I don't think there's any coming anywhere. I don't think we're coming back from this. I think I think that the ban will fully go into effect and TikTok is going to get banned. And I'm happy for this because I think Gen Z, it was just another nail in the coffin for Gen Z because it's screwed. They're a messed up generation, and it's only helped to corrupt them and destroy them mentally and socially. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you think the ban is going to go into effect, or will they get a Hail Mary pass somehow and the Supreme Court maybe saves them? I don't think it's gonna happen, but let me know your thoughts on that. Or maybe Trump tries to save them through some miraculous event. Again, I don't think Trump's gonna come through for them. I don't really see what he could do to save them other than giving them time to sell the company, and I don't know if that's gonna happen either. But let me know your thoughts on that. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Man walking away. And cheers.